Hey guys, I have a question. So if you open a motor and the failed bearing have seal on both ends, should I take one side seal off of the new bearing before install? Now this is in the context of a standard motor. It could be a pump motor, could be a open drive motor like we see with a YK. Sometimes we'll do those bearing change outs in the field. I've had to do that before. So if we're going to be doing a bearing change out like that, what do we do? So the bearings themselves will have they have shields on them. Okay, so in your particular case, if there's a difference between sealed and shields. Okay, shields don't have any kind of sealing material or anything around the edges of the race, where a sealed bearing will. It looks different on the race itself, and it should be identified like on the bearing packaging. So even if the original motor was truly a sealed bearing, okay, even if it was, as long as you have a grease housing and grease ports that you can grease the motor with, converting that to a greased bearing or a standard bearing isn't going to be a problem in my experience. I've had to do that plenty of times. Those sealed bearings, while they're great in theory, depending on what they're being connected to, if you've got a lot of heavy loads on that bearing, those sealed bearings tend to wear out fast enough, right? And I'm not saying they can't handle it, but they wear out faster than I would consider a properly greased standard bearing would probably do in that same environment. With our bearing, this is not a sealed bearing here, okay? There's no sealing material. This is just a shield. So this is a ball bearing, this is a roller bearing. Majority of our motor bearings are going to be ball bearings. They handle axial loads far better than a roller does. Rollers are really good for your radial loads, your up and down, but they don't take axial loads in and out very well. Ball bearings can't handle as much weight, but they handle axial and radial loads really, really well, which is why the majority of our motors we use are going to be a ball bearing style. So we have our race here. We have our inner race, outer race. We have our balls in there with our shields. So your new bearings will almost always come, or this, if you order them just a standard bearing, they will come with shields. Now you can get them with no shields, but if you're installing them into let's stick with a simple example of a pump motor. Okay, if you're installing these into a pump motor, then you're going to want to get them with shields. Okay, don't get the non-shielded. And in that particular case, you'll want one shield to be removed, and it'll be the outer side. So if this was our rotor and stator here in the middle between these two bearings, just follow along with me if you can. Then this outer side is where our grease housing is going to typically be. And we'll have a grease port out here, we'll have a grease port in the back, and then there'll be this little chamber right here on either end on the outer side of each of these bearings in order to grease that or to grease the bearings to the motor. And what's good about having the shield on the interior side is that as this grease does what it's supposed to do, it's going to sit in here. As it warms up, it begins to liquefy. As it liquefies, it's able to get in and maintain bearing temperature while keeping the bearing cool at the same time, or keeping it lubricated. So it helps us maintain temp and lubrication. And that shield on the backside helps keep that fluid grease from just getting slung everywhere, which is why if you have a set of bearings with busted shields, then the interior of the motor is going to be just coated in heavy grease residue, which will eventually lead to a premature failure due to that heavy grease. It's going to start stacking heat because the air moving through the stator can't reject the heat properly. So the stator is going to run hotter. It's going to break down the insulation faster. Then the grease is going to allow some conductance through it into making the stator short out sooner than later, or even possibly short to ground where it may have just done an internal short, right? So lots of bad things can happen when we've got busted shields. So in that particular case, I just use a little small like screwdriver. It doesn't take much, but you'll just pop one shield out. You'll try to get underneath the shield, in between the shield and the race, and just kind of ping it out. Remove one side, leave the other, and then the shielded side is going to be in towards your motor and your stator and the rotor, right? And then the non-shielded side is typically going to be your outer side, and that's where the grease is going to come in from the grease housing. Uh, so if you are if you're replacing some motor bearings and that's your circumstances, even if they are like if they're truly a sealed bearing, then you don't need to remove the shields whatsoever. Like, just, it's a sealed bearing, leave it be. Just remove the old ones, install the new ones. But if they're not actually sealed and they're just a standard bearing, that's when you want to remove those shields, but not both of them. And then if by mistake you got a set in that were non-shielded at all and it was open on both sides, please don't install that. It was a mistake. And you want to make sure that, like, the bearing shops I've worked with, or the motor shops, like, if that happens, which it does on occasion, you get them in, you need to look at them when you receive them. Don't just walk out the store. Make sure that they actually have the shields on them and that the right thing actually came in. Because if it didn't, you can handle it right there and say, no, I'm sorry, I needed shielded bearings here. Not sealed, shielded. Okay, these are race shields. So at that point, you can just get them exchanged. Obviously, it's going to probably cause some delays if you had to order them in the first place. But like, that would be the process there. Don't install non-shielded bearings in a motor like that. You will just make a complete mess of everything, especially that motor stator, and that will cause a premature failure, because all of those are air cooled, which is why they've got the little fan mechanisms and stuff, whether internal or external, however they're doing it. All of those are air cooled, and that grease becomes an insulator, just like oil in the refrigerant circuit coating the tubes becomes an insulator to the tube and causes approach issues and heat exchange, right? Well, that grease will do the same thing to our motor, will cause our motor temperature to rise. Heat is what breaks down our motor insulations. So if that insulation is getting too hot, it's breaking down faster, and you've significantly shortened the lifespan of that electric motor versus, if none of this had happened and it was nice and clean and protected. If you're not already in Chiller Academy, I'd really encourage you to go check it out. Just think about it, right? This is what I do full time. I've committed. I've stepped out of the field, committed my career to this going forward. This is what I've always wanted to do, and to be able to educate, help others, and grow, and help this industry take steps forward. So chilleracademy.com. Like, I'd love to be able to work with you over there. We've got a community page. All the lessons have a comment section. That's what I spend a lot of my day doing. If I'm not working on the lesson material itself, then I am in the comments and I'm trying to respond to those as fast as I can, in addition to helping you through email and otherwise. So love to be able to work with you. For all of those that are in the academy, y'all are doing some great work out there. Keep it up. I really appreciate the support and the feedback that you've given.